Yeah, we in here. What up, everyone? It's been a while. Experimenting, doing a little remote recording for you guys. Welcome to Podcast FC Show. We figured we'd do a quick little video segment for you guys with so many news going around and the transfer deadline coming up. Let's get right into it. We'll get into Arsenal, arguably the biggest crash landing story of the summer so far, with them struggling in form and them keeping Wenger, even though half the fans want him out. It looks like they are losing players, though. It's becoming a real problem. Wenger looks like he's becoming that poison that we've talked about on the show. Huss, what do you think?
It's becoming pretty scary for Arsenal fans, for the fact that when we talk about bad, now it's getting even worse. We heard everything about Sanchez leaving. Now we got Ox thinking about it. And it's just, things seem to crumble. We'll just touch on it real quick with the Ox.
Yep.
It looks like he had something in place for 35 mil with Chelsea, but he said no to that because he's hoping for a move to Liverpool.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. You figure a move to Chelsea, the ex-champions, that would be the move that made sense for him. The money, I'm sure, is better, but man, you look at the lack of playing time, the fighting time, the way they've treated, some of the fringe players with the Chalobah, the Loftus-Cheek kind of guys, even as far as to go Matic. You go to a team like that that's so ruthless. It's tough for Ox, coming from a club where he's been on the fringes, to go into Chelsea, a club that's famous for putting players on the fringes. It only makes sense for him to go to Liverpool, man. I'm very happy that he's wise enough to see where the value is.
But the thing is about, he wants to leave Arsenal for a couple of different reasons. One is because of playing time and he wants to play in his position. At Liverpool, who's he going to play over?
Look,
He's
I think
on the bench still.
Yeah, I think it'll be more of a friendlier rotation for him, and especially because Klopp likes his young, fast players. So who knows? Maybe he does end up being converted into a fullback of some sort or a wingback of some sort. But I think he would actually cover for Jordan Henderson, not necessarily the position, but as far as the starting time on the field. I think when Jordan Henderson gets rested, you guys have Champions League this year, 2 cup competitions, and obviously the Premier League. I think there'll be a lot of rest for Jordan Henderson in that heel, and that would allow either Milner to drop in there or Chan to drop into the number 6 and put Alex Oxlade next to Wijnaldum or something like that.
Yeah, I think he's actually pretty much a cover for next year.
Yep.
When there's a good chance that Chan might be leaving. It's 50-50 right now.
It is.
There's so much talk with Juventus going on. And when it comes down to his contract, Klopp says it's not cool. Literally, not cool.
Yeah, and I don't blame him, man. Klopp has put faith in this guy. He's struggled. You saw him struggling last season at times. And Klopp still kept playing him, still kept giving him playing time. And now when it matters, now when Klopp needs him, now when Klopp is losing his prodigy, in Coutinho, Chan looks like he might be following him out the door. I think that's disgraceful, man. Wherever he goes, I don't think he'll have as big a opportunity to shine currently than he does at Liverpool.
And at Liverpool right now, where people say that players can't trust owners and owners can't trust players, I think Klopp almost trusts his players too much, because he literally told Coutinho, just stay here and I'll build everything around you.
Yep.
You're gonna have that statue outside. And then he wants to leave. Same thing with Chan, like you say, shows the support that he's given him. Just play. Doesn't matter, play. I'll support you. Even if you make a mistake, it's fine, you're learning. And now he's like, But at the same time, I don't know if it's actually more about Klopp or about the pounds. Because Emre Can might be having a chance to get 180, 200 a week. Maybe Liverpool only want to give him 100 or 120. You never know.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. The money's always a factor. But a long-time chase that you guys have been having, by you guys, I mean Liverpool, and RB Leipzig midfielder Keita. Sounds like that deal's done. That was broken, on our social media and stuff. But in case you guys haven't seen it, it's a deal that goes through July 1st, 2018. I don't think I got your thoughts on the show this week, Huss. What are your thoughts on this? You need a midfielder, but you sign him for a year from now.
I mean, that's totally fine, because if these other ventures come true, whether it's Ox or even when Lallana comes back, they're linked with Renato Sanches. That's kind of died down, but if he comes in, they'll have plenty of options, especially now that Can and Wijnaldum are playing so well with Henderson. If Henderson stays healthy, they'll have multiple options for Champions League. It's the defensive end that we really have to worry about. But with Keita, 48 mil, that's not a bad price for somebody that, they said no to 70 million or something?
Yeah.
Or rumored, whatever you want to call it. But,
yeah, that's true. That's not a bad piece of business. And the last piece of business for Liverpool that they're working on is Virgil van Dijk. And obviously, Huss, you've been in the Liverpool forums, the Liverpool fan rooms, the Liverpool rumor mills. What are you hearing about Virgil?
Look, people talked about how they were following him yesterday and how he landed in an airport near Liverpool. And the crazy thing is that he got into a van that they said was the same registration as the same van that picked up Salah. Wow. These are just reports that I'm reading.
Yep.
I obviously wasn't there. But if that is true, this could be enormous. Whether it's for 75 million, it doesn't matter right now. There's so much money in the sport. The Liverpool don't care about the money. They need to get the players.
And this would be interesting, man. This would be, I think, a big victory for Liverpool, even though it took you a whole summer. But if you can prove that, you can target a guy no matter what obstacles thrown in front of you, Liverpool will get there, man. I think that'll send a strong message to players for next summer's transfer window or even January's transfer window,
I think it was last year, even when Matip came over on a free, it started changing how people started coming. They instead of thinking Liverpool, they'll be second or third choice. But this year we have Salah saying, I want to go there. You had Virgil saying, I want to go there.
Yeah.
Keita want to go there. And same thing right now. Liverpool officials are supposed to be meeting with Monaco as well for Thomas Lemar to figure out how to do that. And that's also another thing that kills Arsenal. That not only are they selling players and they're losing for nothing, but they're losing their transfer potentials. Other teams are coming in and just saying, you know what, no, take a step back. We like him.
I love how you snuck in that 4-0 in there. That was slick. Speaking of players who want out, probably the biggest name in the Premier League, or one of the biggest names in the Premier League, an Arsenal man, arguably going to be an Arsenal captain, Alexis Sanchez, rumored to be going to Man City in a swap deal for Raheem Sterling and some cash. What are your thoughts?
I mean, when it comes down to it, do you hold on to Alexis Sanchez, try to make Champions League so you can get better transfers next summer?
Yep.
Or maybe you can swindle something else because City seem almost desperate to get Sanchez, especially with United playing so well. Yeah. So if I was Arsenal, this is a tough one because it depends on what you can get. If you can get some cash, Sterling, and maybe even Fabian Delph, who doesn't play that much and might be.
That's a great shout, Buzz.
So, I was looking towards the defenders, but they don't really have much to offer in defensive, especially with Mangala on loan.
Yeah.
Maybe Bravo, but he's kind of old, same age as Czech-ish. So
yeah, Czech. I think they're finding the goalie because they also have Ospina, who's decent in that. But man, that shot about Fabian Delph, that's actually a good one because they do need help in that position as well, that number 6 position. Now, Delph hasn't played in a while. He was hurt long term, but he's back to being healthy, but is not getting into the squad. That's not bad, man. A homegrown English player who knows the league. It's not great. Obviously, Tom would argue that he doesn't want that kind of garbage. But if you're going to lose Alexis Sanchez, why not pick up a defensive mid and a winger to kind of hold you over until either January or next summer?
The only way it may not go through is depending on how many English players City have. Because if they're giving up 2 English players and because they're heavily on the international players, that they might not be able to do that because they might fall below the quota of how many English players they have on the team.
Yep, that's true. Speaking of English players on a team, a guy who needed a work permit just to enter the country, Serge Aurier. Sounds like it's a done deal with Spurs now that his work permit has been approved. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but we're expecting announcement later this week, if not later today. Massive signing for Spurs. Get to cover, if you don't know who Serge Aurier is, he's a world-class right back who played for PSG. Has a bit of off the field tendencies, off the field drama. Was caught a few times talking shit about his manager and his teammates during a what was it? It wasn't Snapchat. It was Periscope, during a live Periscope video, which is crazy. I mean, you're broadcasting to the world live in real time, and you're talking shit about your boss and your teammates.
I mean, that's alarming, though.
It's very alarming, especially for a team like Tottenham, who's super huge on team chemistry, super huge on teamwork. But look, man, this guy's talent is undeniable. I think he's a solid experiment, quote unquote, experiment for Tottenham. If he pans out, he's going to be a world-class signing. He might be that guy who helps them get over the edge. But if he doesn't pan out, man, he could cause them to finish outside of that top four.
I mean, there's only a few right backs in the world that can really take the position that Walker left. It's going to be hard to get it now. If Aurier can stay level-headed and Poch can tame that player. I mean, that's what we also said about Balotelli. I mean, whoever can tame that animal, that crazy beast, will have such a great player on their hands. It's just who can do it. It's actually right in time for Spurs, though, because they just sold Wimmer to Stoke.
Wimmer was so fraudulent, dude. I watched him in preseason, and then I think it was the first game or second game that Tottenham was playing, and he was so fraudulent. And I thought to myself, he just needs time. He just needs time. Then I wake up this morning, and he's gone to Stoke.
Well, I mean, think about the defensive. All last year, we talked about the defenders being their center backs missing, but now it's Walker's gone, Rose is hurt, Wimmer is now gone. I mean, now we're putting in a different Walker Peters. Who? I mean, he plays well, but who? Yeah. So, I mean, they need to sign someone. I mean, Trippier's he's good, but again, it's the whole argument: is he able to plug in that hole, that huge gap that Walker left? It's not just a gap; it's like a canal because it was that whole right side.
It was, man. He was a right winger / right mid / right back
/ right forward.
Right, he did it all, man. Speaking of wingers, one of the best wingers in the world, maybe of our generation, Gareth Bale, a guy who's had a rough go at Real Madrid. Not sure why. He's given him everything. He's given him all his effort. Even got a speeding ticket, for how fast he runs. And yet he was getting booed the other night when he came off the field when Real Madrid tied 2-2. He was getting jeers and whistles, and Spanish papers have since come out saying, hey, man, considering that there's interest from the British Isles, from Manchester United, let's sell this guy and cut our losses while we can. They even went so far as to calling him it. Like, without referring to his name, they called him straight up it. We'll see if we can find that article and post it up for you guys. But it's rough, man. So they're talking about 95 Bale to United. To me, it's starting to feel like the Neymar to United. It's starting to feel like CR7 to United. It feels like Dani Alves to United, Sergio Ramos to United. It's starting to get really annoying.
Yeah, with Bale, I mean, I'm using this term very, very, very loosely, but it's almost sort of what we saw in Italy. Almost, it's not like a racial thing, but it's almost like you're not South American, you're not Spanish, you're not Portuguese. Oh, you don't have skills. Look, he has skills, and he's also one of the fastest players in the world. He has a good shot. He's a nice lefty. I mean,
what he doesn't. He doesn't have that silkiness that the Spanish expect from their players. He has more of a power, pace. He does have finesse at times too, so I don't want to make him sound like he's just this big clumsy oaf. But the Spanish prefer their players way more technical than he is, and I've been telling this to Tom for years. And Tom's been in denial that, look, man, the small space dribbling is what the Spanish are obsessed about. You look at, I'm not saying you should dribble like Isco, but if you want to understand what I'm saying by small space dribbling, it's guys like Isco, Asensio, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, maybe not even Ronaldo, because he's not a small space guy, but his productivity is just so much. He's undeniable. Bale doesn't have that small, tight space control. He has more of that, winger power, beat you down the line kind of control. He also has heading abilities, physical attributes are all there. But the fans have never bought in because I think, like you're saying, to your point, one, he's from the UK, and two,
Right. With Bale, I mean, if you take away Cristiano and Messi, he might be the best in the world at beating you down the line.
yeah.
I mean, think about that the play that, I mean, everyone seems to remember when he pushes it by a defender and just outruns him even when he's like 10 yards behind the dude to score a goal. So I think it was to win the game. Yeah, to win the game, I think. I mean, fans were cheering there. So, I mean, we don't know whether this is the 10 or 20% of fans just screaming a little bit louder than the other 80%.
That's true.
But you can't hate this type of play because unless if you complain about his injuries, you can do that, but this is a player that will give you everything.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Gareth Bale's a stud. I'd love to see him at United. I'm going to chalk it up to, crazy rumor.
I don't think he's coming.
I don't think he is either, but, as long as I keep my expectations low, I'm building myself up for a nice surprise. And then a weird one, another winger linked to United, a weird one, and no, it's not Perisic. Rumor comes out today that Manchester United and Jose Mourinho have put in a £50 million offer for no one else but Riyad Mahrez. What a shock this was to me. Did not see this coming.
So is he going to play over Mata? Like, I don't understand. Like this, I mean, this just for depth?
It's for depth, but I think he's good enough to earn his spot. So I think with the way Mkhitaryan's playing, I think Mata's in danger of losing his time because right now they have him on the wing, and obviously he cuts in. But I think that on one side you're going to have either Rashford or Martial, obviously Lukaku in the middle. And then on the other side, I think it's going to be Mahrez battling with Mata, depending on what you want that day out of the formation. I think Mata might slip himself into a rotation system because there's no way you buy Mahrez and bench him. But I do see buying Mahrez and making him earn his spot. You know what I mean? So I don't think he'll necessarily be bought to start right away, but he'll be bought with intentions of this guy's a first team player, a starting 11 kind of player, but he just has to earn it.
Yeah, I don't know about this transfer because it could just be a waste of money because, I mean, United have such a deep bench right now because you have Martial coming off the bench. You're telling me you would play Mahrez over Martial? I mean,
look, it depends on the game, man. I mean, you look at what Mahrez did 2 years ago. You look at what he's doing so far this season for Leicester. He looks back to his old self. So I think Mourinho's just thinking, how can I make sure I slam dunk this season? You know what I mean? So he's willing to drop 50 for a guy we might not necessarily need or a guy who might not necessarily take us over the edge. But, man, I wouldn't be at all upset if we picked up Riyad Mahrez, not the way he's been playing.
I would say this, the one great thing that he brings to the table for United, crossing ability.
Yeah.
Because if you have Lukaku, Pogba, Fellaini, Mata, if you have those guys in the box, this guy can put it, on a dime.
Dude, how many? Yeah, that's a good call. I didn't even think about that. How many crossing goals are they going to get? Because, now United's so tall. Even on set pieces, he's great on set pieces.
Yeah, because if you have Valencia overlapping him, Mahrez can cut into the left, swing it in there, or push it out wide for Valencia, who's overlapping, to give a nice little push through the box there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. But, again, that's just another rumor. I don't know how true that is. I got it on the Mirror, but who knows if it's true. And lastly, with United, real quick, embarrassing, fraudulent. Tom says United are always favorites of the Prem, yada, yada. They get special treatment. Well, my man, Mkhitaryan, 5 assists in first 3 games. He breaks a record held by Rule Fox of Newcastle in the 1994-95 season. And somehow he's omitted from the Player of the Month team. 5 assists in 3 games. Are you kidding me?
I don't agree with that. I'm a huge fan of people that get the assist. Actually, I think usually the person that gets the assist should be offered the goal because usually that's a little bit harder than finishing it off because there'll be so many goals that are finished inside the 12-yard box, but you see the assist coming from dribbling by somebody and pushing through 3 other defenders.
Yeah, you should get bonus assist points. All right, and then West Brom announces the signing, Bussington.
Oh, there's a couple more. Did we talk about Kieran Gibbs?
No, we're going to now. West Brom.
Okay, so West Brom, another shot to Arsenal. Kieran Gibbs. They lost. They're going to lose probably Ox. They might lose Sanchez. They're losing Gibbs. They might lose Mustafi. People aren't getting along.
It's an exodus. It's
Oh
an
my God.
exodus.
And Czech just screamed at everybody in the locker room. But again, it comes down to Arsene. Not playing Sanchez and Lacazette at the same time.
It's crazy.
That right there, that mistake could have changed everything, because if they finish a 2-2 draw or a 3-3 draw to Liverpool, people may not want to leave right now.
Agreed, man. Agreed. You saw Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's face after the game. You saw Sanchez's face after the game.
On the bench.
Yeah, Gibbs is
one of those. Oh,
exactly. Just frustrated. Like, what am I doing with the prime years of my life? What am I doing wasting them here? Gibbs, same thing. Rode the bench a long time. I've never been a huge fan of Gibbs at Arsenal. I like his work rate. I like that he's a team player. I like that he works hard for the team, but he's always been missing that piece of flair that you need when you're playing for a top 3 club. But I'm very happy for him at West Brom. He'll get time. He'll get great treatment. He'll also get great support, and he'll be able to play, most importantly.
This is perfect for West Brom. This is perfect for Gibbs. He's going to play every week, or like in probably like 2 years, he's going to be playing every week probably. So he's securing West Brom mid-table finishes every year for the next probably like 4 years if they keep getting defenders like him. Excuse me. Gibbs is one of those players that, like you said, maybe not top 3, top 4, maybe not for top 5, but very solid as a mid-table.
Yeah, it's a great signing for West Brom. What else you got around the world?
And they got West Brom, PSG star. I cannot say his name. Krychowiak. I don't know. It's Krychowiak. He came from Sevilla last year to PSG. He was there 2 years. They won 2 Europas. Went to PSG last year. Didn't get any playing time. So now he's out on loan to the Baggies. That's a good. He's a midfielder. That's a great play by West Brom again. If they like him, maybe they can get him on a permanent deal. We don't know.
Yeah.
So.
That's not a bad signing, man. On loan from PSG, a club with such pedigree, like you said, played Sevilla before. West Brom's doing good business this window, considering they lost Fletcher. I thought they'd be in trouble.
Oh no, that was really good by West Brom.
Yeah.
And then Drinkwater just submitted a transfer request.
Oh boy, he wants to go to Chelsea, huh?
I guess. But that's a career. That's like almost like Mark Noble going to Chelsea like 6 years ago. Don't do it, dude.
When it was hot.
You're not going to play that much. Well, actually, I'm not going to say you're not going to play much, because we don't know with Conte, because he plays random people all the time, and it seems to sort of work after 1 year. But Drinkwater, for me, he's not going to play over Bakayoko. He's not going to play over Fabregas. He's not going to play over Conte. So
it's a depth signing, man. It's a depth signing. I think Drinkwater. Look, this is a weird one, because Drinkwater obviously has a starting role at Leicester. He's one of the leaders at Leicester. But here's the question, man. Do you think Leicester will ever be able to achieve what they achieved 2 years ago? Simple answer is probably not, man. Probably not. So I think for him to stick around, he's sort of jaded. The project is jaded. Obviously Leicester's going to try their hardest this year, yada, yada. But odds are they're not making top 6. So you've already won a medal with the club. You've done all you can do with the club. Why stick around? Why not go to Chelsea and get yourself a fat paycheck, live in London, and maybe, play once every 3-4 games, sort of cruise, or maybe in his head, he genuinely thinks he could fight and displace someone in that team,
That's true. You also don't know as much as Chelsea can talk to players, because we learned that with Liverpool and Southampton, they're probably still talking, or at least talking to the agent. So you don't know what Chelsea's saying to him, saying
that's true.
You'll probably get in once every other game, or you'll be getting in like starting every 3rd game and coming in every game at 60. You don't know, and he's a class player coming off the bench.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
But I don't know, as a professional, winning the league and then saying I'm cool with coming off the bench, that right there maybe is a character issue with me. But maybe he just wants to jump on another winning team, because they say once you win one, the desire to win again becomes, tenfold.
Yeah, and his current team, as much as they desire winning again, Look, I never want to say never, but I wouldn't bet on Leicester winning another league title, at least for the next 5 years, I'd say, just to be safe.
Oh, no, it's not going to happen for like another 100, 200 years.
I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to be too harsh. But so I'll just stick with 5, but I'm probably more on your side, Huss.
Yeah, the magic's not there because we would have started week 1 against Arsenal. If they were going to win the league and have that magic they had 2 years ago, they don't tie Arsenal. They find a way to beat them.
Yeah.
If they scored the goals, they just had to keep the goals out.
Agreed. Anything else from around the world, Bussington? Before we wrap this up.
Laurent, Swansea said something about going to Chelsea because Swansea might be getting Bonnie. And also Chadley from West Brom might be heading out to Swansea as well.
See, that's not bad. That's not a bad one for Swansea. Just get some bodies in there.
I'm sort of surprised that Chadley doesn't want to stay at West Brom because West Brom is more secure. He had a decent season last year. It seemed like everything was going well. So maybe there's some back room issues with Pulis.
I think he also wants to play, 90 minutes every game. And at Swansea, he could arguably do that. He could compete with those guys in midfield.
Well, he's starting in the game that was good last year.
Yeah, maybe there is a fallout.
Yeah. Then also Swansea is attached to Renato Sanches because Liverpool was attached to him, but then they made so many inquiries that they started to fall out. So now Swansea's trying to get Renato on loan. I think that's where Bayern Munich probably had Liverpool, where Liverpool probably wanted permanent, and they want to do a loan-by-loan system.
How the mighty hath fallen. Renato Sanches wins himself a Euro, heads over to Bayern. Looks like this kid's going to blow up, Mbappe style. And now he's looking at loans to Swansea. It's so unfortunate, man. The change of a manager, the change of a system can just throw everything, your whole career, into turmoil, because it's undeniable this kid's talented. Is he as talented as we thought during the Euros? I don't know. I haven't watched too much of him last season, but either way, he's one of Portugal's brightest upcoming talents, and he's going from Bayern to Swansea. Hopefully this loan, it's a loan, so there is recovery. He can make a comeback from that, but hopefully he does go out somewhere where he'll get a lot of playing time and get his career on track, man, because I was really excited to see this kid develop. I was excited to see him at United until he turned his back.
And now with Liverpool actually get Keita next year, but also being attached with Lamar and Ox, it comes to the point where maybe they just don't want to deal with Bayern's BS, basically.
Yeah,
it's more or less with them. It's like our way or the highway. So Liverpool said, well, you know what? We got 2 other guys over here that might want to join us. So you know what? You just hold tight. Maybe we'll grab him when he ends his contract with you because he's obviously not happy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, is that it, Bus?
I
think that's it.
I mean, there's a few other ones, but nothing too crazy. But we're going to be back with you guys real soon. So we're going to talk about that anyways. So that's good for the top teams at the moment.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us, guys. We're going to start doing more of these daily just to give you guys the rundown on the news. Maybe we didn't cover some stuff on the regular episode. If you don't know who we are, we're Podcast FC Show. Check out our podcast episodes every Monday and sometimes Thursdays. Thank you for checking us out, guys. Peace.
Laters.